Welcome to Stoic Daily Stoicism. In today's video, we're diving deep into a topic that sparks endless conversations in the world of dating and relationships: tests. Now, the moment we hear the word test, most of us instantly feel a little defensive. We imagine a trap, a trick, a hidden game designed to catch us off guard or make us fail. And yes, in some cases, testing can be manipulative or unhealthy. But here's the truth. Most of the time, these so-called tests aren't traps at all. They're natural human ways of figuring out if someone is really compatible with us. Think about it this way. If you were hiring someone to work at your company, would you just take their word for everything they say on their resume? Of course not. You'd probably give them an interview, maybe even a practical task, just to see how they perform in real-world conditions. Dating isn't much different. We're all trying to figure out, is this person really who they say they are? Can I trust them? Do our values align? Will this connection hold up when life throws challenges our way? So today, we're going to explore 7 common ways women might test you, and why these moments aren't always bad. In fact, many of them are simply ways of discovering who you really are. This isn't about teaching you how to pass or fake your way through these situations. Instead, it's about understanding the psychology behind them so you can respond authentically, confidently, and from a place of self-respect. So let's dive in. Test 1. She observes. How you react under pressure. Life rarely goes according to plan. You can book the perfect dinner reservation, plan a fun weekend trip, or set everything up to go smoothly, and then something inevitably goes sideways. Maybe the restaurant loses your booking. Maybe the Uber cancels at the last minute. Maybe the movie you were both excited to see is sold out now. Here's the interesting part. In these little curveballs, she's not consciously thinking, aha, let's see how he handles this. More often than not, she's just watching. Naturally. Because how you respond in these everyday disruptions reveals a lot about your emotional stability. And emotional stability, my friends, is gold. It's one of the most attractive traits a man can demonstrate, not just to women, but in leadership, friendship, and every area of life. Why? Because it shows that when challenges appear, you don't crumble. You adapt. You stay grounded. Think about the Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca. They didn't judge someone's character based on how they behaved when things were easy. Character reveals itself in difficulty. Anyone can be charming when life is going smoothly. But when things fall apart, that's when the truth comes out. So, picture this. Your order comes out wrong at a restaurant. Some guys get flustered or irritated. They raise their voice at the waiter, make a scene, or sulk for the rest of the night. What does that communicate? Impatience? Fragile ego? A lack of control. Now imagine another guy in the same situation. He laughs it off. Maybe he cracks a lighthearted joke. He suggests an alternative plan or simply goes with the flow. Suddenly, the entire mood shifts. Instead of the night being ruined, it becomes a story. And she notices this man doesn't let small things shake him. Here's the deeper point. Those little moments are projections of how you'll handle bigger storms later in life. If you collapse over a wrong coffee order, how will you respond? When faced with financial stress, family problems, or major life changes, the takeaway: don't fake composure. Women can see through artificial zen. Instead, practice genuine reframing. Ask yourself, will this matter tomorrow? Will this matter in a week? The answer is no. Laugh it off, pivot, and keep moving. Because in that moment, you're not just saving the date. You're showing her something much bigger, that you are steady, adaptable, and grounded, the kind of man who can be relied on when life gets messy. Test 2. She watches how you treat people who cannot benefit you. Here. One that flies under the radar but speaks volumes. How you treat people in service. Roles, strangers, or anyone who has no obvious advantage to give you. Sure, she's paying attention to how you treat her, but she's also carefully noticing how you interact with the waiter, the cashier at the coffee shop, the Uber driver, or even the stranger who accidentally bumps into you on the street. Why? Because kindness to those who can do nothing for you is the clearest signal of your true character. If you're patient, polite, and respectful in those micro interactions, she sees a man who values people for who they are, not for what they can provide. On the other hand, if you snap at the waiter for being slow, act dismissive to the cashier, or treat service workers as invisible, it's a massive red flag. Because she knows consciously or subconsciously that once the novelty wears off, that same lack of respect might be directed at her. It's like the old saying, how you do anything is how you do everything. And let me be clear, this isn't about putting on a fake nice guy performance just because you know she's watching. Authenticity always shines through. If respect is part of your core values, it'll show naturally. If it isn't, you can only pretend for so long before cracks appear. So the principle here is simple. Treat every human being with dignity. Not because you're trying to earn points, but because it's the right thing to do. That quiet, steady kindness is far more attractive than flashy gestures. And over time, it builds trust. The kind of trust that tells her this man is safe to build a life with. Test 3. She brings up value-based topics to see where you stand at some point in the early stages of dating. She might drop a question that feels a little heavier than casual conversation. It could be about kids, marriage, finances, career goals, religion, or lifestyle choices. Now, for some men, this feels like an interrogation. They panic. Why is she asking about marriage already? Why is she talking about kids? But let's pause for a second. What's really happening here? It's not running a background check. It's trying to figure out something vital. Do our core values align? Because here's the truth. Attraction and chemistry can spark quickly. But values are what sustain a relationship long term. If she dreams of settling down in one city while you want to travel the world for the next decade, it's not about failing a test. It's simply an honest mismatch, and here's where authenticity matters most. Some guys, fearing they'll lose her, try to tailor their answers to what they think she wants to hear. They nod along, agree with everything, and hide their real stance. But this only delays the inevitable. If your visions for life don't line up, they'll create friction down the road no matter how much initial chemistry there was. So the key here is honesty. Answer truthfully. If your goals align, amazing, you've found someone whose path matches yours. If not, that's not a loss. It's actually a win. Okay. Because you've both saved yourselves from months or years of investing in something. Destined to clash. Think of it this way. Values are the compass. Attraction might get the ship sailing, but without a shared compass, you'll eventually drift apart. So don't fear these conversations. Welcome them, because every honest answer brings clarity. And clarity is always better than confusion. Test. For she sees how you handle boundaries. Here's a big one and maybe the most important. How do you respond when she sets a boundary? Boundaries could be anything. Maybe she says she's not ready to be physically intimate yet. Maybe she asks for space when she's stressed. Maybe she sets limits on how often she wants to text during the day. Maybe she says she doesn't want to discuss a certain topic, yet your reaction in those moments tells her almost everything she needs to know about your respect for her. Do you respond with understanding and patience? Or do you take it personally, push back, or try to make her feel guilty for drawing the line? For many women, this is a deal-breaker test, Evan, if they don't consciously call it that. Because if you can't handle a small boundary now, what happens when bigger boundaries come up later in the relationship? Boundaries are not obstacles. They're opportunities. They create safety, respect, and mutual trust. And when you respect them, you're not only showing maturity you're building, the foundation for intimacy. Because true intimacy can't exist without respect. So the next time you encounter a boundary, reframe it. Instead of thinking, she's trying to restrict me, think she's giving me a chance to show her I respect her autonomy. That response will speak louder than any words. Test 5. She watches. How you handle her success or attention from others. This one is overlooked but absolutely crucial. How do you respond when she shines? Maybe she lands a big promotion at work. Maybe she gets recognition for something she's accomplished. Maybe she gets a compliment from another person in public. In those moments, she's quietly observing, is this man secure enough to celebrate me? Or will he feel threatened? Insecure men often make these moments about themselves. They downplay her achievements. They get jealous when she's noticed by others. They try to control her to soothe their own insecurity. But a confident man, he celebrates her wins as if they're his own. He isn't shaken by attention she receives from others because he trusts her hand. He knows that her light doesn't dim his dot. Think about it. A healthy relationship is like a team. When one person scores, the whole team wins. If you can cheer for her success without resentment, it shows you're secure, supportive, and ready for partnership rather than competition. So instead of reacting with jealousy or defensiveness, lean into pride and encouragement. Show her you see her victories as a shared vie.